Good morning, traders. I am Emily Advani, the CEO of the Investment Banking Institute and your host here at NewsWare's Trade Talk. Joining me is trading anchor Bill Olson, who brings more than 30 years of institutional trading experience to our program. At Trade Talk, we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Today is Tuesday, September 3rd. We return to trading today after an extended holiday weekend, and as we kick off a new month of trading following a green day on Wall Street on Friday, the Dow added 227 points, or 0.55%. The S&P 500 climbed 56 points, or just more than 1%. The Nasdaq advanced 197 points, or 1.13%. Bill, let's get into Tuesday with what is happening in the markets this morning.
Hi, yes, good morning, Emily. I'm watching the S&Ps. We're down 0.48%. That's about half a 1% this morning. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a red opening, that's for sure. The focus this morning is going to be on this ISM manufacturing report that's due out after the opening bell. We got some good earnings coming out. Zscaler, GitLab, Health Equity, PagerDuty, they're all releasing earnings reports after the bell. Tomorrow morning, we get Dollar Tree, Dick's Sporting Goods, and Sienna. They're scheduled to report. But the news around the tape, like Boeing got a downgrade this morning from a major broker. Ooh, that's ugly. I see Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris, yesterday came out in opposition of the U.S. steel sale to Japan's Nippon Steel. China launches, a probe into Canadian imports. Beijing also threatened Japan with severe economic retaliation if Japan further restricts sales and services to the chip sector for Chinese firms. But we're taking a look at how the markets are doing, especially overseas, and we're looking at the DAX. The DAX is down 63 points, or 0.63%. They did have some election data which had some wins for that far right AFD party over the weekend. The FTSE's down 44 points, or 0.53%. These mining stocks are getting hit again. France is lower by 0.23%. Their budget deficit did improve. It did narrow. That came out this morning. We're taking a look at Asia last night. And, the Nikkei dropped, 14 points, which really isn't much, 0.04%. But, the Bank of Japan remains hawkish on interest rates, and they're expected to hike. Their PMI data was revised higher, so that was a kind of a benefit. But I think that the Nikkei is really hitting the top here. In Hong Kong, the Hang Seng dropped 40 points, or 0.23%. They're worried about China's 2024 GDP growth rate of 5%, but they think it's going to be at risk. And in China, of course, the Shanghai market dropped 0.29%. Four of the five largest lenders logged lower profits in Q2 after responding to government calls to lower interest rates to stimulate the weak loan demand. Keeping an eye on oil. Oil just can't get out of this negative trend. We got oil down more than 1.5% this morning. WTI is trading at $72.42. Brent is at $75.21. I mean, that China manufacturing data over the weekend, the China PMI data came in at 49.1 versus expectations of a reading of 49.4. That wasn't good. That's not good for oil. Israel is really being pushed to make sure that this ceasefire deals goes through. There's a lot of strikes going on in Israel saying, that Netanyahu hasn't done enough to kind of, reach a deal. So, yeah, they're under pressure. They got to do something over there. But oil is trading lower, down about 1.5% this morning, Emily. And that's what I have for you in terms of a morning market update.
And Bill, as we sort of brush off the dust here after a long weekend, getting really into the action of September, as you can hear from your opening, we're keeping an eye on many things today, and this is all using the NewsWare. As many of us return from a holiday weekend, you're not missing a beat, and you're doing that because you're able to catch up on all this information very quickly. One of those areas is earnings action. You're diving into that today. So, Bill, what is going on in terms of earnings?
Yeah, let's talk about earnings data. I mean, there's nothing really that came out Friday night or this morning, but upcoming we got PagerDuty, ticker PD, Paul David. Their EPS is 16 cents. Their expected move is 11.22%. We also have Health Equity, ticker HQY. Their EPS is 70 cents. Expected move is 7.44%. You got GitLab, ticker GTLB. Their EPS is 10 cents. Expected move here is 14.45%. And Zscaler, ticker ZS. This is one that's going to be watched. EPS is 69 cents. Expected move is 9.78% when they release after the bell this morning, Emily.
You're also keeping track of economic data this morning. And again, other people are wondering what they should be following when they wake up on a Tuesday after a holiday, but you know exactly what to follow this morning, even looking at those economic events. So, Bill, what is going on there?
Well, I think at 10 o'clock today, we get the ISM manufacturing PMI. That's going to be a key one. But also at 10 a.m., we get construction spending. But I think the market and myself are really going to be looking at the manufacturing data ahead of time, because that's going to be a key report. But that's all that's really going on the economic front, because this is a big week for employment data. I mean, we got the ADP data coming out, we got the JOLTS data coming out, we got the weekly jobless claims, and then of course the non-farmers payroll report coming out on Friday. So we got a lot of employment data, but today is a little light except for that ISM manufacturing data. That's going to be the spotlight for today, Emily.
And Bill, we'll be following that throughout the week for our listeners, giving them the updates on that data and when to look out for that. Using our NewsWare alert for economic events, you're also keeping track of other types of information and data this morning. You're looking at different things like merger news, guidance news, shareholders meetings. As you do every morning, you're looking at your stocks grouped together, like your FANG stocks and your Dow 30 stocks. So, Bill, what else do you see is possibly moving the markets today?
Well, I'm just doing a quick data check. I got 23 stocks on the Dow that are lower, 6 that are higher, 1 unchanged. I'm looking at my FANG stocks, and I am seeing a little positive action in Tesla, but everything else is negative. So we really do appear to be having a weak opening this morning. You look at some of the news behind the headlines, like Apple. There's a report out there saying Apple's going to be using OLED displays in all of its iPhone models starting in 2025. Netflix is aiming to keep subscribers by improving dubbing translations. Makes sense. But Tesla, I mean, they're planning a 6-seat Model Y vehicle in China for 2025. And, the Chinese figures for EV sales in August were up 3% year over year. That's why that's the big reason why Tesla's showing some gains this morning. But, you move over to the Dow stocks and like Boeing, listen, Wells Fargo downgraded the stock to underweight, and I think they announced a price target of 118. Oh my gosh, that's causing some weakness in the stock this morning. We're showing shares of Boeing this morning are already down 3.44%. We're looking at Disney, ticker DIS. They pulled ABC and ESPN stations from DirecTV due to a licensing dispute. Intel CEO, is expected to pitch a plan to the board later this month to revamp the company's business model by selling various assets. And 3M hit with a class action lawsuit on Friday, accusing them and other companies of covering up health risks of so-called forever chemicals. You look at shares of 3M down about 0.9% this morning. In terms of merger news, Kamala Harris, she's calling for U.S. Steel to remain America-owned and opposes the takeover of U.S. Steel by Nippon Steel, ticker X. In terms of guidance, CI, Cigna, Charlie India, they reaffirmed their full year adjusted operating EPS of at least $28.40. Street estimates 28.51. That's okay. They said at least, so I'm okay with that. In terms of shareholder events going on, this is a big week for conferences, and there's a big Barclays Consumer Staples Conference going on today, and I see STZ, Stars Constellation Brands, and ADM, Archer Daniels Midland. Their CEO is going to be presenting today at that Barclays Consumer Staples conference. Something to keep an eye on. In terms of catalyst news, let's talk about MTB Bank. JP Morgan issued a positive catalyst watch on shares of MTB this morning. Michael Tomboy, could be something there. But that's what I have for in terms of news hitting the tape this morning, Emily.
This is the type of data that NewsWare delivers daily. It's factual, it's market moving, and our alerting functions bring it to your attention as it happens. Go to www.newsware.com now and sign up for the trial and see for yourself the benefits that professional Newswire delivers. We've now made it to that time of the day for the Trade Talk pick of the day. Bill, we're starting out a new week, a new month. What is your pick of the day today?
I'm going to go with Health Equity, ticker HQY, Henry Quinton Yellow. Earnings are out after the bell. EPS is 70 cents. Expected move is 7.44%. You look at Friday's call volume, 159 calls versus 53 puts. Yeah, that's positive, but pretty light. You look at the open interest, 1,371 calls versus 3,950 puts. See, that's negative. So it's not hitting all my data points. But when I look at the other ones, I just kind of like Health Equity the best. Major brokers are positive on they're raising price targets on Health Equity. They delivered a beat last quarter and they raised their full year 2024 EPS view. But to get into the stock, honestly, I got to get in at a discount. I'm thinking, 78.50 to 79, somewhere around there. I think that is doable. I think we have a weak opening that could push the stock down a little bit, but which will, create that opportunity for a good entry price. And that way, if they do deliver a beat, the stock should bounce off of that. So yeah, I'm going to go with Health Equity, ticker HQY, Henry Quinton Yellow, 78.50 to 79 is an entry price, Emily.
We will follow Health Equity along with you today. And coming up, we will do a recap on Friday's pick of the day to see how that went. So stick with us. But ahead of that, let's take a look at the current breaking headlines that have hit the tape in our Hot Off the Press segment. Bill, take it away.
Okay, let's see what we have here. Health Equity announces a collaboration with Patient. ASO, Apple Sam Oscar, Academy Sports has 9 additional stores to open in the fall of 2024. NICE announces new centralized gateway to government services. Freight Technologies, FRGT, Frank Richard Grace Tom. Freight Technologies announces extinguishment of $1.1 million in outstanding debt. See, Southwest Airlines, ticker LUV, added Evercore to their tactical, Evercore's tactical outperform list. Apparently, Elliott has enough shares right now to call a board meeting, so expect that to be announced soon. LUV, Larry Uncle Victor. Cargill, CAG, IBM, and INSM added to Goldman's conviction list this morning. Aero Pharmaceuticals, ticker ARWR, they're hosting a call this morning on the results of their phase 3 study. Pfizer reported further positive phase 2 from their booster results for Lyme disease vaccine. Cardinal Health, CAH, McKesson, and Centocor, 3 of the largest U.S. drug distributors, have agreed to pay $300 billion to resolve claims by health insurers and benefit plans that they helped fuel the deadly opioid epidemic, according to court papers filed on Friday. That's all I'm seeing this morning, Emily.
Okay, Bill, before we dive into trading on this Tuesday, let's do a quick check-in on Friday's pick of the day, which was NICE Systems. And we did just hear you mention a news item for NICE Systems during that hot off the press segment. Now, if we remember all the way back to Friday, this was ahead of that PCE data. There was no major earnings ahead of the holiday. And so you were going to go with a cybersecurity sector play here. So how did your call work out?
I mean, it worked out okay. I mean, you look at NICE Systems, the issue here was it opened up so high. It opened up at 175.13 and then it fell down to 172.19. I got in at 173.81. And then you look at the stock, it ran all the way to 174.30. You look at it this morning, it's trading 174.92. It's 1%, just a hair underneath 1%. It was okay. I made money on it. I wasn't, upset on it. I just thought it was going to do better because the other cybersecurity stocks were rallying, but NICE wasn't following as much. But still a good one. It's going to have more gains today, but likely, Emily.
Still a win there, Bill, and that was to close out August. If we look at August stats here in terms of the pick of the day, there were 22 picks, 18 wins. There was 1 flat, 3 losses, but without that flat trade, throwing that one out, we're looking at an 86% win rate for August. And as we all recall, it was kind of a wild month, the market. So I will take that 86% win rate. And we will check in with you tomorrow about today's health equity pick of the day to see how September starts off. Bill, thank you as always for your expert insight. Join us back here tomorrow at NewsWare's Trade Talk when we provide the facts, themes, and trading ideas for the day ahead. Again, I'm your host, Emily Advani, here with trading anchor Bill Olson. Traders, you know what to do. Let's go out there and make some green.